horrific circumstances of Grenfell will etch in the minds of regulators the 14th of June 2017 as being probably a sea change in UK fire safety legislation and enforcement practice. For many years we've had a situation where there has been more and more self-regulation, more and more duties placed on employers, and enforcement which tends to be after the event, except in the case of very high-risk organisations. So I think the regulatory impact will be a significant increase in proactive legislation. I think we will already see fire authorities being more proactive and less tolerant of problems that they find. And individual fire officers may well have in their mind the fact that if I overlook this, or if I allow some leniency on this, could I be facing a situation where a large number of people are being killed and I haven't acted fast enough? So I think the regulatory impact will be twofold. In the short term, it will be a sharper enforcement practice and probably less tolerance from fire authorities when inspecting. In the longer term, we could see all sorts of changes. We could see more centralisation of permissioning schemes, things perhaps going back to some form of certification, as was the case until the 1990s, and a greater reliance perhaps on authorities to inspect. So I think all of those things will have a very significant impact. In addition, of course, the obvious change will be a change to the building regulations to re-examine the use of combustible materials and the use of inspection regimes and the type of inspection regimes that are undertaken. If one looks through the history of UK health and safety legislation going back over 100 years, major disasters have often resulted in changes to legislation or changes to a regulatory approach. And one can point to that in terms of fire certification of hotels, which arose directly from a series of disastrous hotel fires, culminating in the Rose and Crown in Saffron Walden in 1969, through to large fire deaths in factories leading to the Factories Act in 1961. Our major hazard legislation arose out of a series of disasters that occurred in chemical plants. So throughout history there has been a tendency to legislate after major events, and I think this will be no exception.